Villiers. Fast hands from AB de Villiers. He's laced it.
He can score his runs 360 degrees.
The world record now belongs to AB de Villiers.
We live in a modern age of invention and brilliance.
He's the best one-day international batsman in the world.
He is an absolute genius, this man.
He's like a machine, you can't stop him.
You're seeing a modern grade at the peak of his powers.
AB, here we are at your home ground, Supersport Park. Can you remember when you first came to this place?
Yes, I can. I was about 11 years old. My dad decided one, I think, Saturday afternoon that we needed to come through to watch the test match here between South Africa and England in 1995. It was Sean Pollock's debut test match, his first game ever, and I watched him get his first wicket. I had a Jonty Rhodes cap, a green one with Jonty in gold on my forehead. I remember watching him hit some balls in the net, so it was pretty cool.
Did you ever dream, sitting there in your Jonty Rhodes cap, that one day you'd end up playing for South Africa and also achieve everything you have achieved?
I never in my wildest dreams thought that I was going to play here. I always had dreams of playing on a big stage in any kind of sport, but never thought I'd be here today.
You spent a lot of time in your youth knocking a tennis ball up against a wall. Is it Warmbad? Have I pronounced that right?
Yes.
Your hometown. Visualising playing in front of a massive crowd. So you must have felt that you always wanted to be centre stage and be a bit of an entertainer like you are now.
That started many years ago. My grandfather used to sit reading his newspaper against the wall, and I used to hit the balls around him and try and get it as close as possible to him, testing my skill a bit. He never flinched and always just complimented me and told me to keep going and keep playing. But anyway, long story short, I always had the dream of playing some kind of sport in a big way and on the big stage. My dream came true, and yeah, just amazing, huge privilege.
There he is. And there it is too for AB de Villiers. They've found here a young man of 20 years of age who should be around for a long time to come yet and make many more runs than these.
AB, if you don't mind, we go right back to the beginning, because your early years fascinate me. With the family that you were brought up in, you just get your trigger movements out the way and set yourself.
I'm glad you say unique, because I believe that's what every sportsman's got to try and achieve in his career, no matter what sport you're playing. Especially a batsman, you have to find yourself and your own game and your unique game. I've changed a little bit here and there. I'm not scared of changing. I've changed my technique a lot over the years, but once I go through it now, you'll see that it's all very basic.
Show us your trigger.
Yeah, so basically at the moment I get onto leg stump, because I know my trigger's quite big at the moment. It feels small, which is quite funny, but when I watch myself on a replay, I see that the movement's quite big. So I start on leg stump so that I don't fall across too much outside off stump. I'm happy to cover the stumps because I don't get out to LBW that often anymore. It used to be a weakness of mine, but I do back myself nice and straight. So yeah, basically, like I said, it changes a lot. But I like a bit of an open stance. I like to keep my left a little bit open. That also changed in this series now against England, where I try to close it a little bit, try to open it again, whatever feels comfortable on the day, almost like a golf swing. You try and hit your first ball on the first tee, you see it's a little cut, and you try to play with the cut on that day. So I don't try and force my technique into a certain direction on the day. I come out here and I feel comfortable with something. Sometimes it takes a few overs. Anyway, long story short, a little bit of an open stance. My head position is the most important thing of my technique. I don't care how much I move, whether I move a lot or not, that'll just happen. That happens naturally. With taller bowlers, I like to move a little bit more. Guys a little bit skiddy, I'll move a little bit less. I don't go back and across too much. That just happens naturally. It's developed over the years. But the most important thing is my head position. For every single bowler I face, every shot I try and play, my head's got to be in a strong position. I almost draw a pitch map from where the bowler's releasing the ball. And when I see that pitch map, I just want to operate with my head in that pitch map. I always draw it straight to my stump. So I don't want to go that side of the pitch map or this side of the pitch map. I just want to operate in that pitch map, forward and back, forward and back.
Beautiful shot. That is a magnificent stroke from AB.
This is all about the balance of AB de Villiers. So often we see batsmen working this through mid-wicket as their head just falls slightly over. But de Villiers, it's the perfect on drive.
For you, practice is about quality more than quantity. What do you perceive as quality practice?
Yeah, it's short and sweet. It's always been the way that I've prepared. I really focus on having shorter sessions, but making sure that I do my drills properly at 100% intensity, match intensity, and then also my net session. And when I'm facing the bowlers, I try and draw up match scenarios for myself, put myself under a bit of pressure at scoring rates, not getting out certain times. So those are the kind of things I focus on, but I keep it really short and simple, probably 40 minutes to an hour maximum. With a bat in hand.
What are your batting drills?
I like to have throws first. I hit a few balls with a stump. It helps me to focus on, first of all, watching the ball. If you don't watch the ball with a stump in your hand, you're going to play and miss at quite a few of them. And then also playing in the box. You don't get away with leaving that box with a stump in hand. You look like a fool. So it forces me to play it very late and to watch the ball intensely. And those kind of drills are really important. I'll show you one or two others that I also do. I like to keep my feet still and hit a few balls. I learned that from Villiers. Once again, forces you to play nice and late.
What do you want? Just some half volleys or?
Yeah, wherever. See that I was a little bit early there, and that's where I don't make good contact.
Out of your box.
I left my box a little bit there and tend to not find the middle of the bat when you do that.
And it's exaggerated because you've got a stump in your hand, basically. You
Spot
might get
on.
away with it with a cricket bat.
Absolutely.
So I've seen some of the England boys bat with like half a bat.
Yes.
This is pushing it just that even a little bit further on. But
Some
half
of
a
the kind
bat's
of
almost
thing-
too easy for you.
This is just the next level.
Okay.
Yeah, one other thing it helps with as well, you can't afford to drive on the up with a stump. So it really teaches you not to drive at a good length delivery, waiting for the fuller ball. So the good length deliveries, I just try and play nice and late, let it feed off my bat. When it's a bit fuller, you can have a go. It really teaches you to play the length well. There we go.
Amazing. What was the other one you were mentioning where you don't move your feet?
Yeah, I use that with a bat. This is a Villiers drill. Same kind of effect, I think. Forces you to play the ball nice and late because you don't move your feet at all. I see Virender Sehwag he basically played his whole career like that, but it really helps you to keep your head still and to also hit the ball nice and late. So those are the two things I think about, and to create power with that is also key. Really works your hands and your arms well, and that's what it comes down to. You'll find yourself timing the ball a lot better after doing this drill.
Crikey, shot.
See they're a little bit early, so I know there was a split second early, the ball went straight in the air. Had I got a stride in there, I probably wouldn't have noticed because the ball would have gone on the ground still and I would have been fine. But this just forces me to play it as late as possible. I can't afford to go a little bit early because the ball will just splice up in the air.
I suppose this is an example of foot movement is not as important as balance at the crease.
Very true.
You look very balanced there without moving your feet.
That's it, and especially to spin bowlers. But even seam, it comes down to head position. My head is in a good position and I'm playing the ball nice and late. So feet or not, it's not that important.
You've never had, well, you used to have a big stride, but you don't now.
I don't really think about it, but when I look at myself play, I don't really get a big stride in. Just focus on getting my head in a good position, playing it nice and late.
Shot.
That's better.
I'm going to end on that one. That is an incredible shot. It doesn't, you know, your old-fashioned coach might be saying, well, does that make you stop you moving your feet? You know, you don't get in a game and not move your feet. You just naturally adapt.
Definitely not, and it's still a drill, remember. It's just 15 to 20 balls that I face like this. Because I believe that my strengths lie in playing the ball nice and late, keeping my head still. So those are the things I work on. It might be different for someone else, but once again, after my drills, I have a full net session where I move my feet, I jump around, I do all the necessary things. This is just to sort of sharpen up the things that I believe that I'm good at, and what's important for me to have as sharp as possible.
He's got him this time. South Africa lose both their openers now. De Villiers joins Smith back in the pavilion.
Bat turns in his hand. On this occasion, a shortish ball has worked.
I watched some footage of your first ODI game against England. I think you were caught Solanke on the pull off Kabir Ali.
Yes.
You were quite a front, you were getting on that front dog and then pulling off it, whereas now you just set yourself and you're not as far forward. Is that a fair change? Is that right? Is that the change you made?
Absolutely. That's a very, very good point. I backed myself big time with short stuff when I was younger. I still do, but because I got out with full and straight deliveries, I wanted to avoid that, obviously, because it's soft. So to stop that, I started focusing more on going back first and then forcing myself forward as the ball's released, and not the other way around. I forced myself forward as the ball is released, and the only other way back was going back then, which is never a good position to be in. So now I try and go back in that pitch map, and then my next movement must be forward. Even if it's short, I still back myself to have time to do that. That's a natural shot. It's a bit like tennis. But just to make sure I can hit a straight drive. I always search for a straight drive first up, because I get into the best kind of positions when I look for that ball. The minute I hit a straight drive, I feel I can get under it.
That really is a magnificent stroke.
You also talk about batting in a box.
Yes.
What do you mean by that?
In very simple terms, it's waiting for the ball. I'm a very useless cricketer if I don't play in that box around my body. The minute I leave it, and like I used to do in the first 4 or 5 years of my international career, I had very hard hands. I used to leave my body a lot, and I nicked off. I got an LBW. I got out in all kinds of ways, and hitting the ball to covers in the air. So that all I felt were soft dismissals, and after a very frustrating start to my career, I sort of forced myself to play the ball later. I always saw Jacques Kallis doing it, and I was very envious of him having that skill.
Is all this stuff even for one-day cricket when you first go in, or is that completely different? The box goes, the playing late goes,
yeah,
the ball goes.
You think I'm lying, but it's for all the formats. When I premeditate, and there's always room for that later on in the innings, but when I premeditate too early on in my innings, I lose my positions and I get into bad positions. I tend to get out in soft ways as well. I think you would have seen on the internet a coaching video too, where I talk about the rhythm of my backswing. So I like to have a bit of a rhythm with my bat, and that also changes a bit. I take that away when the ball's swinging a lot. I try and keep it a little bit more still. But once I'm in and things are going, I like to have a lot of movement with my hands, because I believe that's where the talent lies, is in your hands and how quickly you can adapt and react to certain deliveries. All right, here we go.
Perfect, lovely. Sharp. You've absolutely nailed some check drives there. Why do you prefer the check drive?
A few reasons. I get into good positions when I do that. I don't lose my shape. And secondly, I still have enough power. I've realized that over the years, if I just time the ball, I still have enough power to get it to the boundary. As long as I place it well, and if I play it late enough, I tend to create a lot of power.
You sometimes just really flat bat it, don't you? We saw in the series against England, you sort of throw your hands at it. You almost hit it on the top of the bounce and hit it straight.
AB de Villiers flat bats one through the offside for 4.
When I'm not quite there, and I'm maybe not there with the length, I prefer to keep it down and maybe take the dot ball, but if I do get it right, I'll get my 4. As long as it doesn't go in the air, because you don't always have full control of where the ball's going.
Oh, he's clapped that. He's laced it.
In one-day cricket, especially now you're moving up the order in T20, etc., you're looking to attack. How do you go from a low backlift, playing the ball late, to I'm just going to belt this out of the ground?
Your instinct do take over sometimes, because obviously, like I told you before I walk out to bat, I know what's required of me, whether we're looking for boundaries or not. So that's always in the back of my mind. Do we need ones? Can I afford to have a few dot balls or not? So that's in the back of my mind, but my basics with my technique do not change.
You're a fantastic player of spin. What are the basics of playing spin?
I've watched guys like Virender Sehwag and some of the best players who play spin throughout their careers. I played with Viru at Delhi Daredevils for 3 years, and I watched him not moving his feet an inch and just playing with his hands, really forcing himself to play it late. Obviously in games you need to move down and up a little bit, rock back on the back foot. But you'll see, well, I find that I time the ball a lot better, and I'll pick up the lines of the balls a lot better if I don't move a lot.
And are you a premeditator? You know, you're thinking, I'm going to sweep this next ball, or you just see it and play it?
Sometimes. I don't think there's anyone in the cricketing world that don't premeditate sometimes. It is important to, well, especially for me, it's important to to know what I'm trying to do. I don't premeditate very often unless I know what the bowler's trying to do and unless the situation of the game calls out for a certain shot. The sweep shot I feel is premeditated. I can still adapt if it's not there and play a back foot drive or try and get one. But it is a premeditated shot. Coming down the wicket is premeditated.
Launched and smashed. That has gone a very long way indeed. Right out of the screws. A long way back into the crowd.
It's just a situation of the game that calls out to me to do something with the information that I've picked up in the last few balls.
Okay, we've got Jacques, our local off-spinner here, who's absolutely thrilled. He's come to bowl at AB de Villiers. Jacques, good luck, mate.
Sweetly timed. The hallmark of a quality, high-quality batsman, AB de Villiers.
AB, you've swept the ball there.
Yeah.
How many different sweeps do you have, would you say? That just the orthodox? Do you have a slog sweep?
I can hit it wherever I want to, basically, on the leg side. Depending on the line of the ball, obviously, and also depending on the area that I'm looking to attack. That specific shot, I just try to get bat on ball, just to try to get the first sweep out of the way, because it's not an easy shot. I'll just make sure that I get as low as possible. I don't like the ball to beat me at the bottom of my bat when I'm sweeping, so I always try and almost sweep it like a broom. I learned this from Yunus Khan, the Pakistani batsman. He's got this bat very, very low. He doesn't mind getting out to top edge, but he doesn't want to get LBW and bowled. Okay, I'm going to pack the leg side. It's a long boundary leg side, short boundary offside. I want you to open up the offsides, all right? Ek gaan alles weg kan slaan, hoor. So try maar om te keer om dit te doen nie. I asked him to try and stop me to hit it through the offside.
Right.
So he's going to come as straight as possible because he's realised that he's, you know.
So you're challenging
just
yourself.
To make it as real as possible,
okay.
Yeah.
Shot, AB, great shot.
Watch it!
Watch it! Oh!
How unlucky is that? Sorry, boys.
How much are those cameras worth?
Hopefully just the plastic.
Yeah, it's
just the plastic.
Sorry, boys.
Sorry, guys.
Watch it!
Right, last ball, 6 to win. Moeen Ali, Mumbai, 2020 game.
It's the long boundary, but I'll take it.
6.
On the rope.
Villiers down on one knee. Innovative, to say the least.
What about these shots you play, the little scoop shots where you go across the crease? You don't overwork on these shots,
no.
You just take them into the game and deliver.
Yeah,
How?
I don't like to practice them, I really don't. It's a very awkward, uncomfortable shot. Those shots I play, it's obviously premeditation, and that is just completely reading the situation of the game and being in a moment where you just can't help yourself, you're just letting go. I feel that with those slog to cow corner, maybe it's a 5, 6 out of 10. I don't feel the bowler's going to bowl in the right area. So that's where those shots come into play, and you try and get a boundary, try to get the bowler off his game and get him to think in a different way. I don't practice them, but I do believe that I've got enough natural ability, and because of other sports as well, like tennis, hockey and golf and all of that, to just keep my head still. I still don't change that. I keep my head still and still to make contact with the ball and not overreading it.
Go.
Okay, here we go.
That's 6. That's the one.
Oh no, it's naughty.
Okay, stop there. You say that's naughty.
Yeah.
So there's a classic example. As the bowler's running up to bowl, you're thinking I'm hitting it there.
Yeah.
Why did you end up hitting it there?
Yeah, it was just a gut feel because of the length. The bowling machine was going a little bit shorter and shorter, and that length I just prefer to go a little bit more in front of square. It's basically what happens in games as well. As the bowler's coming in, you get a feel of what he's trying to do. Yeah, so I prefer to hit my lap shots when it's a bit fuller. When it's not full, I've got to adapt and try and get it in front of square.
How well played is that? That is just sheer class.
What's the shimmy all about? Sometimes you do a little shimmy,
Yeah.
sometimes you just go. What's that? Just to put the bowler off, or?
No, not really, because I do it very early. I feel I get into a really good position when I do that for the lap shot. I prefer to get on the offside of the ball, on that side, so that I can help it along. If it doesn't happen that way, I've got the option of hitting in front of square. But I do that just to get my momentum going in the right direction. It's a bit of a superstition, almost a habit. It's a good habit that I have because of past successes with it.
That knock you got, the 131 balls, you played a couple of shots this side.
Yes.
Now this is putting you out of your comfort zone.
It's a little bit easier.
It's easier?
Yeah.
I thought it'd be harder. I'm thinking I'm going to get hit here.
No, it's a bit easier, but it's not as effective. Right. I'll get a boundary probably 6, 7 out of 10, whereas that is almost 10 out of 10.
There's genius in this.
Hot. First up. That is remarkable. Oh. Right, I'm going to go third man. All right?
Okay.
So you're just trying to get it over my head.
That's
not
right.
Over here. It's not like that one where you're trying to hit it for 6.
That's the thing. I can't get maximums with him.
Right.
Or hardly ever. Sometimes.
So this is just get it. Third man's up. Captain's brought him up. You're trying to get it over my head. Just like that. This is bad captaincy.
Oh, it's out.
Oh! Caught AB de Villiers out.
Great catch.
Back. Oh. Keep going. That's made my tour of South Africa. The Nasser Hussain masterclass. Shot. Great shot, AB. Brilliant.